All kids are expected back in class and picnics are on the cards by March 8, as Dominic Raab today said vaccine data key to unlocking Britain was looking pretty. In a major boost for cooped-up Brits, Boris Johnson is poised to announce that all children will be back in the classroom and that people will be allowed to picnic in the park with a friend, or that non-essential shops will be prioritised after that, and Brits should be able to enjoy drinks alfresco outside from April if cases continue to fall at the PM is expected to hold a press conference tomorrow to mark hitting the target of vaccinating the 15 million people in the four most vulnerable groups by February 15. It's widely expected that the target, which is key to getting kids back to school, will be hit today, 24 hours ahead of Foreign Secretary Mr Raab said during a round of media interviews this morning. The vaccine data that is key to the roadmap of lifting lockdown was looking pretty. He told the BBC's Marr, as well as opening schools on March 8. Our aim is to get non-essential retail open, and then after that, again driven by the evidence on how the vaccine is working, we can think about things like hospitality. We're basing it on the evidence that we've got that the vaccine is doing. So far, the prognosis is pretty good, but we've got to keep monitoring it as the rollout proceeds. Speaking during his Sunday morning media round, he said he was optimistic about getting kids back. He told Times Radio, "The first priority is to get schools back. The plan is for March 8. That is what we are gearing up." Mr Raab maintained that the PM would officially set out the roadmap for easing lockdown on February. He went on, "We share all of the ambition and the desire to get out of this lockdown, and we want to do it responsibly and safely. Therefore, it's got to be based on the evidence, which is of course what we said, but we've got much more granular evidence and we're accumulating it." The Prime Minister will set out the path forward on the 22nd. Back to school. Boris Johnson is preparing to announce that all schools will reopen on March 8 in the first stage of lockdown. The Prime Minister will confirm that all schools will reopen on March 8. The day coffee in the park with a friend will also become legal. Mr Johnson is now preparing to give Brits some of their freedoms back when he unveils his roadmap on February 20. Getting kids back to school is still his top priority, but he will also lift curbs on people meeting for a coffee in the park. Outdoor socializing will be among a host of banned activities that will be allowed. From restrictions for adults will be slightly relaxed, with Brits being allowed to sit down outdoors with one friend or family member or their own household. Current rules mean people may only meet outdoors for exercise, whilst reviving the high street will come soon afterwards, with a risk assessment of non-essential shops reopening underway, followed by pubs and restaurants. Sage mutiny. The PM last week told ministers there will be no backsliding on his goal of getting kids back to class from March 8, despite a mutiny by Sage science. Sir Jeremy Farrar said COVID infections must be cut from the current 750,000 to just 9,000 before we can think about lifting restrict. Pubs and restaurants will be able to serve outdoors in April if COVID cases continue to fall. The reopening of hospitality is being fast-tracked in a major boost to the blighted sector, and a government source said, "We will hopefully be sipping pints in the spring sunshine sooner rather than." The good news came as the UK's COVID-R rate fell below 1 nationwide for the first time since. And there was more good news, with the UK expecting to smash its target of offering a jab to all 15 million of the most vulnerable Brits before Monday. Rebel Tory MPs have warned Boris that there is no justification for COVID restrictions to still be in place at this. 63 Conservatives have told the PM the vaccine must give the UK permanent immunity from virus-related loss. The COVID Recovery Group, which is behind the letter to the PM, demands a relaxation of unnecessary risks. The rebels demand all pupils return to school by March 8. Pubs reopen in time for Easter, and legislative restrictions must be removed after all 9 priority groups have received their. The letter adds that the goalposts must not shift. Boris said yesterday that he is optimistic about lifting lockdown restrictions before he sets out his roadmap on February 22. The PM said he will prioritise reopening shops and then hospitality.